stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. That's the biggest thing amongst Americans, humans in general. Procrastination is so big, it will stop you from achieving your dreams. It really will.
Hey, I'm Ronja Sakata, founder of the Joy Academy and Queen of Joy. That's how my friends call me. It's so important to me that my life is full of joy and that I enjoy every moment because I know how fast it could be over. We can do so many things to bring joy in our lives, to create joy, and that's what this podcast is all about. I talk with people and they tell me how they bring joy to their everyday life and how they create a life full of joy. So let's dive right in, and please tell me after the episode what your takeaway is from this talk. Welcome, AnTonia Jackson, to the Let's Create Joy podcast. I'm so excited that you're here because I already had the honor to interview your beautiful mama, and she introduced me to you. How cool is that? You can tell everything about your connection and who she is afterwards yourself. And we start as always, like, who are you? What do you do? And how do you create joy in your everyday life? And what brings you joy? And then we go with the flow.
Okay, yes, and thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is AnTonia Jackson, and I am a 4 times published author, a spoken word artist, a serial entrepreneur, and a motivational youth speaker. And so you asked, what brings me joy? So yes, so what brings me joy is the fact that I can get up every day and make today better than yesterday. Just to have another opportunity to do better things, greater things. And what was the other question?
Like, how do you create joy in your everyday life? You know, what brings you joy could be like this and this and this, and then the little things, how you go through your day and on purpose, like how do you create joy in your everyday life?
So how I create joy is I always try to find something every day to do something that's fun, that's full of happiness, and, just like a free flowing day. For example, I try to at least go to the park. That brings me joy, being out, seeing the scenery, the beautiful birds and all that good stuff. And then another thing may be to just have a car ride, have a good joy car ride. Having a great conversation with my husband and just enjoying the fact that, you have another 24 hours to live, and you're out here, you're healthy, you're alive. And that's the most important thing.
I just got chills because like another 24 hours where you can create whatever you want. That's it. We're done. We're done. But it sounds so easy, and that's where I like to dig in, like with people. If you're not in a good space, you're like, 24 hours. Yeah, it's hard. And I know you're not a person complaining. You're motivated. You're focused. I love all your social media posts. They're so uplifting. But if you're in a bad place, it sounds sometimes also my stuff like, how good you can talk easily from your position. But I know that your life wasn't always rosy, and you built that yourself. And this power of we can create things, we can choose things. I just give you the mic, just talk whatever comes to your mind. I don't want to ask you a specific question, but when I'm in a bad place and I'm kind of, you look at you gorgeous woman, like I'm not there where you are. What do you say to a person like this?
So honestly, if you're in that situation, or a situation where you feel as if you can't get out of, a situation where you feel as if you're stuck, it is kind of hard to tell you what to do, honestly, because it's a mental thing. It is. And you have to be mentally stable, mentally prepared to, get out of that mindset. It's something that you have to work on within yourself. Usually when people say something to you, you're either going to take their advice or you're not. So it's really not up to another person to tell you how you could get out of that mental state. It's really up to you. And so that's where it boils down to, okay, Do I want to stay like this? Do I want to stay in a depressed state? Do I want to stay sad and lonely? Or could I change my mental for the better and think positive about myself, think positive about the life I'm in? Sometimes you can change your bad situations into good ones. There are so many things you could do to improve your lifestyle, all because life is hard. It's going to be hard for everyone. No one is going to go through life, like a walk in the park. They're not. So you have to know, how to keep your mental strong. And another thing for that you could do is meditate. You could read books. You could listen to, cool, calm music. And you can just even talk to people. Talking to people is probably one of the best things you could do, so you won't feel lonely. So you won't feel like you're in this alone. And you never know how some people can impact your life positively. And so just honestly, it's a mental thing. So you have to be able to get out of that mindset and say, this is not the life I want to live.
And that's the beauty of it. It's a mindset thing. So it's not like you only achieve it this way or you have to buy this for happiness. No, you can change it yourself. So how good is that? You have the whole power with you, and not somebody else can give it to you, your happiness. You have to create it on your own. And
yes,
yeah, it's the beauty of it. But then like, oh, I have to do it myself. Why? That's the responsibility for your own happiness. I think when you own it, then everything gets easier, or you see
exactly.
the next step and the next step.
Yes, that is true. It takes faith. It takes faith.
And how did you get your faith? Was that just like your upbringing with your amazing mother, which I talked about how she, like, the mindset she has as a mother, like my children are free to choose what they want to do. I think that's so beautiful, because a lot of parents have an idea, my daughter has to be a lawyer, otherwise it's not
Exactly.
worth any, like, that's so beautiful. And she meant it, she wasn't just talking about it. So was the faith and the mindset something you were given, or just like you had such a big role model, or you say, yeah, that was part of it and I gained it myself this and this way? What do you say about that?
So I can say that the main thing my mother taught all six of her children was love. She couldn't give us materialistic things, things we wanted, but she gave us what we needed. And that was love. So with her giving us her love, I learned 3 valuable life lessons. So at an early age, I was taught self-love, how to give back, and the good things I could use my money for besides myself. And so I learned my faith through our homelessness journey, as well as through my mother. But another thing is I've learned my faith through the things that I went through, as growing up as a teenager, as a young adult, and all that stuff. So I feel as if faith is something that you really have to be deep into. You can't just say, oh, I believe this is going to happen, and you really don't believe it. It's hard though. Faith is hard. Faith is one of the hardest things that, a human being can have, because you don't know what's in front of you. No one knows what's in front of you. No one knows the future. You're only promised today. And so I feel as if you really have to be, deep into, a spiritual like connection with God if you're, going down that path. And also faith is something where, you have to trust the unknown, basically. And so what we had to do, we didn't know if we were going to get out of homelessness or not. So we had to trust the unknown. We had to keep the faith. A major thing that kept me and my family's faith alive was that, we had each other. So that was number one. We had each other. We had love. We had a mother who really cared for us, who made sure, the jails wasn't going to house us, the streets wasn't going to raise us. We had a mother who truly wanted us to become someone in life. And like you said, you just want your daughter to be able, to be free, to do what she wants to do. And that's the same thing my mother wants for her kids. So I would say that my faith did come from our homelessness, as well as growing up as a teenager. And like I said, now a young adult. And so it is hard. Many people, I don't know. I mean, you have to have a fearless faith, a faith that outweighs all fear. And it's hard because, like I said before, you can't see what's in front of you. And there's going to be times where you want to give up, you want to give in. You're thinking, oh, no, I can't do this, or I don't know what's in front of me. I don't want to, mess nothing up, or just anything in that nature. So, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Faith is one of those things where you just have to believe without even seeing anything.
But as we don't know what is ahead of us, I always say, let's just assume that it's just amazing. And if
Yeah.
it's not, we can deal with that later. But like focusing on, ooh, that won't work out, and this is bad, and that might be hard. Like, yeah, maybe, but you don't know. So let's focus on it will work out. Everything is working out for me. Like with this perception, it's just more fun, and the trusting feels better if you're like, oh no, this will go down. Yeah, it's
Right.
it's so interesting to have always these possibilities. Like, what do I want to believe in? Because that kind of faith that everything will go downhill and everything will go wrong, that's kind of a faith too, but just it's not
Exactly. Yeah.
uplifting at all. But I think being negative needs energy too. So why not take this energy and put it into a positive direction?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
And as you were like free to do whatever you want as a profession, how did you realize or like knew that, oh, I want to write books? And what are your books about? Like, and your poetry with words, I mean, that's an art, and you have to
Yeah.
find the way to there. How did you find this passion of
Yes.
yours?
So it started when I was 12 years old. My mother would take me to events in the community, whether it was speaking events, youth events, conference events, even volunteer work. And so I began to become passionate about it, so I started to become a youth advocate. And that is how I got into speaking. So I became a youth advocate, a motivational youth speaker. And then from there, I was inspired by Ernestine Johnson, now Morrison. She's a famous spoken word artist. And that's how I started spoken word. I loved the art of it. I loved just the whole concept of it. And so that's how I started spoken word. And at 15 years old, I was starting to see my mother write books. So I said, oh, I want to have some let me write a book. So I went to my mom and I told her I wanted to write a book. She said, okay, cool. So we sat down. I told her, the name of it. My first book is titled Answers from God. And it's about two sisters who goes down different paths in life, but through prayer and dreams, God reunites them. So at 15 years old, I became a first-time published author. And then the next year, I became a 2 times published author. And that book is called Call on Me. So it's about a wealthy atheist woman who suddenly realizes her money can't save her when she becomes ill. And so this past year, 2020, I published my first children's book. So that's my third book, Flossom. It's about 10 kids who has flaws and insecurities, and they learn to love and accept themselves for what they are, because regardless of their flaws, they are still awesome. And then my fourth book, Sister Girl Soul Conversations Self-Help Guide, is a guide for ladies ages 16 and 21 who have or are experiencing situations they feel as if they can't get out of. The guide is to help them realize who they are and that they are in control of their life. Wow. So that's 4 books right now.
You're on fire. And what I love is like, yes, I can write a book, because I think everybody, maybe not everybody, but most people have a book inside of them, and the doubt and the like, oh no, and it's not interesting. And of course you had a mother like showing you it's possible.
Yes.
But just, I mean, experiences build our self-esteem, and oh, I can do that. I can do it. If I can do it one time, I can do it another time. So yeah, I want to read all your books, and we will put all the details into the show notes for sure.
Yes.
So cool. Because, I was a teacher for teenagers who learned to be a food technologist. That's a profession in Switzerland where you work at the factories, making chocolate or pasta or potato chips, or just all the foods which are
right.
Factories. And we have kind of the system that you work and you have a contract with this company, but you go to school at the same time, and after 3 or 4 years you are a professional this and this, so professional food technologist, and that's a profession where you have a certain salary and like a skill set where you can work wherever you want in the food business. So I know the challenges of teenagers quite well, you know, either with family or in the job with bosses and co-workers, or just personally, like a girl from Sri Lanka said, I'm in love with a guy, but he's shorter, is that the correct word, shorter than I am?
Yes.
And that's not allowed in our culture. And I said, well, I don't know about your culture, but why not ask your parents if that would be okay, even if you are breaking this rule? Because for me, from a outside, it seems like, come on, if you're in love, why shouldn't you, you know? So I did some coaching, and I love that you wrote the book for young people, as you are, you know, you're close to them, like,
Right. Yeah.
that's what I learned. Here you go.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, teenagers need role models. And I asked you, you're not a teenager anymore, right?
So yeah, I'll be 20 in May.
Okay, you're still a teenager. So cool. So like, from peers teaching peers, I think that's so beautiful.
Right.
I want to read your book.
Yes.
And I know that you already have a game, also have a game in place. Tell us everything about the game too.
Yes. So my tabletop game is called Accountability Money Box. And it's a game that teaches children 3 major life lessons: how to count money, how to think positive about themselves, and how to do something nice for someone else. I created this game back in December of 2020. And honestly, it was a vision from God. I never knew how to create a game. I never thought of creating a game. And it just happened. It just literally popped up in my head, and I simply just blurted out, I want to create a game. So I came up with the name, I came up with the concept, and you know, I was scared because, okay, I came up with all this good stuff. God gave me a vision to create a tabletop game based on the 3 life lessons I learned as a homeless youth. But now it's time to manufacture. It's time to get the game, you know, built in my hands. And so I was like, but God, you know, what if it's not a success and I spend all this money on it? What if this, what if that? And I'm like, I'm blind. I can't see what's in front of me. And like, can you give me a hint? What's going to happen? Is it going to be a success or not? But he was like, you trust me? And I was like, you know, this is a personal conversation I'm having with God. And I'm like, yes, I do. And so he was like, you just have to, you know, step out on faith and get it done. I gave you this vision, you do your part and I'll do mine. And I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Because at first I started off with a small box from Michael's and some Dollar Tree supplies, and I made the game that way. But I sent it to my mom. She was like, no, you need to get this done professionally. And I said, okay. So that's what I did. I got it done professionally. And yeah, so that's how my game came about.
And it looks so cool. And you are not shipping yet to Europe. Otherwise, I would have bought it on the GoFundMe page. But I'm sure this will be something which is internationally. Maybe you have to get it translated too. But that's a walk in the park for you, I assume, because I really love the money part. You know, like children and money. That's such an important conversation to have a positive vibe with money, because money is energy and money is power. So the right people having money is just, it's so cool what you can do. You can donate here and help here, and having a positive attitude from a child's age on, that's so valuable.
Right. Yep, it is.
I love how you like download ideas and then you just act on it. You don't, how can you not doubt all the time? Is it just I don't want to say just, is it faith? Like, yeah, I just do it. But if
it's more than faith. It's just the fact that you never know when it's going to be your last day on earth. So if you want to get something, if you want to start that writing that book, if you want to create a business, do it. You know, you only have one life to live, and tomorrow is not promised to no one. So start on it today. And that's how I have to think. Not only just, you know, with my faith, but another thing I have to think about is, you know, life is too short. Life is too short. There are so many people on their deathbeds right now saying, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. When people now who are living healthy, doing great things, have all the opportunities in the world to get it done, especially during a pandemic. There's not much going on. You know, some things are opening up, but there are still, most stuff are shut down. So a lot of people have time on their hands. So get it done. You know, that's how I have to think about it. And I just let it flow. If it becomes a success, it does. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But I know for sure that I got done what I wanted to get done. Mm-hmm.
But AnTonia, I just want to watch Netflix all day long.
Mm-hmm. You do. Stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. That's the biggest thing amongst Americans, humans in general. Procrastination is so big, it will stop you from achieving your dreams. It really will.
And I think procrastination in the dream department is fear of failure. Exactly. And then there is procrastinating in things you just don't want to do. And of course you're procrastinating. So you better like change up your life, that you don't have to do these boring things. You don't feel excited about them. Of course, there are things we just have to do, but other things are like, oh, let's ditch this job or don't do that anymore and focus on my dreams. Mm-hmm. But what do you say about safety? I mean, like, so many people are doing a job they hate and they get ill because they do something they hate all day long, but they're not brave enough. And I don't want to call anybody out, but just inspired, like, come on. What do you say? AnTonia, it's not safe to quit my job and do what I really want to do. What is your advice for somebody like this?
I would say most of the billionaires, millionaires now, they went after their dreams. They started in their basements. They started in their garages. They went after their dreams. They didn't care what anybody else had to say. And I feel as if you're going to spend your whole life doing something you don't like, I mean, you're wasting your life. You are. Now, I can say if you want to, you know, have a 9-to-5 to fund your business, that's fine. But if you really want to have a business, if you really want to do something besides what you're doing now, I advise you to go ahead and do it. Fear is always going to get in the way, but you can't let fear get in the way. You can't let procrastination get in the way. You can't let other people's nose get in the way, other people's, saying, well, you can't do this, or this isn't for you. No, you have to follow your dreams, follow your mind, and stick to the plan. I mean, you know, there's always going to be people saying this and saying that. There's always going to be thoughts in your head telling you you can't do it. It's too much money, or this, that, and the third. But I feel as if, like I said before, you have one life to live. Do not waste it on something that you really don't want to do. You're going to spend your whole life being sick mentally because you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. But I have to. No, you don't. No, you don't. Everybody has free will and you can do what you want to do in life. So I just advise you to do it.
No, you don't. So cool. Yeah, it's so true. That's what I preach all the time. And I get it if you're not into like cutting your job, like stopping this and just doing this, but you can do it like gradually in your garage, as you said, or in a corner of your whatever room, and just start small and build up while other people are watching Netflix in the evening. You just do build your business.
Exactly.
Write a book. And writing a book, my book is now, yesterday it was finished for like the manuscript, that I'm so excited to now send it out to read. I would love to have your opinion on it too. If you have time for reading other people's books, that would be so great. Just write one sentence and then another and then another, and then you have a chapter, and with many chapters there is a book. But as you said in the beginning, it's all mental. It's like, oh no. And I was much slower than you are with writing. Like, I needed time to process, like, oh, well, that's my book now, and it's not perfect, but somebody will be inspired by it for sure, or maybe two, or hopefully more
Yes.
people. And just detach myself that it's not, if it's a failure, it's not that I'm a failure. It's just, it's out there. I wanted to write it for years. Now I did. So, yeah, just do it, as you
Yeah,
said. Just
exactly. Yeah.
so good. But still, like when somebody's listening now and just saying, I can't do it, what do you say? I All the
I can't.
doubts flying around, and like, I can't do what I love.
You
Are you
can.
are you into, like, talking somebody into their dreams, or are you like, oh, well, you just have to find it out, then just do whatever you're doing and be miserable some years more, and then you will find out? Or what do you say?
No, I will talk it out of you. Everybody has it in them to do what they want to do in life. Like I said, some people are either just procrastinating or they are just too afraid to, hop out on their dreams. I mean, what's the wait for? There are people who say, okay, I'm not going to do it right now. I'll probably do it 5 years from now. Okay, but what's going to happen in 5 years? When you can do it now, you're still going to be in the same position you are from now to in 5 years. So why not start now? Like, you can do it. There's no one in this world that can't do what they want to do. Everybody has the potential to be the greatest that they can be. So there is no excuse. You have no excuse. Your lifestyle,
Sorry, everybody listening, you don't have any excuse.
No one does. No, because there are so many people I've seen who had the worst situations, who've had the worst lifestyle and still made it out on top. So no one has an excuse. No one.
Yeah, and it is actually that simple. And I just, like, doing something you love is so cool and good and feels good. But the whole society, with all the expectations and the written and unwritten rules, is just a really heavy burden, and you have to break free of that in some way or another. And if you have a parent, like, pushing you in the normal direction in a job, you just already now know, I don't want to do that, but I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like, as you said, life is hard wherever you are. You can be in a fancy rich family and have challenges, or you can be homeless and you have challenges, but you had the love, you had each other. Maybe some people would say, well, you were in a better situation than I am, and you're like, haha. Like, yeah, it's just so diverse, and there's so many different circumstances. Like, every person has a different circumstance, and we have to find our own way out of it, or into the direction of our dreams.
Right. Yeah. I think of it as this. There are always other people whose story is worse than mine. There are people who've been molested. There are people who've been shot at gun, all that, held at gunpoint, all of that. So there is no excuse, and everybody's situation is different. It is. But no one has an excuse to say, well, I had this in my life, so I couldn't accomplish my dreams. My mother, she had to raise 6 kids all on her own, single parent. She was underemployed and undereducated, all of that stuff. She had to raise 6 kids on her own and still made it out on top, 12 times published author, a doctorate degree. So no one has an excuse. It's your mental that you have to control. It's your mental that you have to say, this is the life I want to live. This isn't me. I want to be better than what my family history is. I want to break generational curses. I want to build generational wealth. That's what you have to tell yourself. Everybody's situation is different, and some worse than others. But it's only your fault if you don't make a difference to change that.
Oh, you're dropping so many truth bombs. I'm like, whoa. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
what is your personal vision? Where do you want to go? Because that's something I do with my clients, like your personal vision. Maybe you want to have 60 sheeps and live in the Alps, and just be on your own. And maybe you want a yacht and private jets, but don't go for the private jets if your real dream of your heart are the farming in the Alps, like what's your personal vision? That's so important. And just open the doors, like, ooh, if that would be possible, wow, that would be cool. And I know that you have big dreams. Could you,
Yeah.
or are you willing to share your big vision, like AnTonia in 10 years, in 20 years? I mean, you're 20, I'm 43, so how about in 20 years? What are you doing then? And how your life
Please,
looks
I
like?
would say, because I don't know what will happen in 20 years, but one thing that I will always say that I want out of life is to make an income while making an impact. So while I'm impacting people, serving people, helping people, I want to be able to make money as well, live comfortably to where, if I wanted to go to the store and buy this nice, expensive thing, I can, if I wanted to, go to a fine dine dinner, I can. But I also want to be able to make an impact, because money isn't everything. It's not. And if you can't make an impact, if you can't help people in life, I feel as if you really haven't, achieved, greater than what you think you can. And so that's my thing. In 10 years and 5 years and 20 years, I want to be able to make an impact while still having income coming in, and a good amount of income too. So yeah.
Generational wealth. Do you know
Yes.
do you know Rachel Rodgers?
I heard of the name.
You have to check her out. I love her. Her business is name is hello7.com.co, I think. Yeah, just hello7. You find her right away. And she says I want to help every woman I meet to become a millionaire, because when women have really wealth by their hands, we can change the world, because we are
Right.
investing different. We are just, our mindset is different. It's more building up everything than just having power and this is mine and all the yeah. I assume, and when I see you, you have a beautiful husband. I have a beautiful husband. Not every, like, male. I don't have anything against male energy, like power. I'm not afraid of power, but like
Right.
this, the female way of managing businesses and how you can have an impact. That's let's save the world together with
Yes.
a lot of power, which lays in money, because we can't be everywhere. It's just not possible to help everywhere where we want. So
Right.
where
Right.
do you want to make an impact? Like, what's your heart like?
So more so with the the future is this generation now. The generation is the future. More so with the youth. I want, their generations now is different from way back. Of course I wasn't born in the 19s, but it's different. It's different. And there are so many kids who are growing up, not knowing life, life lessons, not knowing how to show kindness, compassion to others, just being rude and selfish. This generation feels entitled, like they did, like everything they want, they can get, you can't. So I want to be able to step in, for one, as a former homeless youth, and for two, as a young adult now, who has overcome those things, who has learned to, who has learned the true meaning of giving back, who has learned how to, follow after their dreams and all of that stuff. I want to be able to go back and help the youth become amazing human beings, whether it's whatever they want to do. But it starts young. I always say this, it starts young, it starts in the family. So I want to be that light that brings, a positive impact to youth, because they need it. There's so much bullying going on. Suicide is at a high rate. And we just need to teach them how to love, how to show kindness, teach them, I came across some research. Experts have determined that kindness changes the brain, and that selfless acts of giving provides physical and emotional benefits needed for a well-rounded individual. This is why it is essential for children to learn kindness early on. And then there's another thing where children are growing up in single parent households or households where their parents really probably don't want them. They're always arguing. They're always, treating the kids wrong, beating on them. The average 2-year-old hears 432 negative statements per day, but only 32 positive statements each day. So that means that these kids now are growing up in environments where they're just trying to survive. No, I want to change that. Let's help these kids thrive in their environments. Let's help them become the professions they want to become. Let's help them do what they want to do and achieve what they want to achieve. That's my goal. That's my main mission. And that's my most focus point when, I say I want to help people. I'm really talking about the youth because it starts young.
And so with the tabletop game, you are like entering the living rooms right away. And what else? What do you have all the strategies ready in your head? Like, I need money for this and this and this, but then I can just do this and this. Or are you just like the game, like listening to what God tells you, like this energy tells you to do next? Or do you have like a secret, not a secret, but like a plan in your head already, like, ooh, I will do this and speak, and because your goal is big, big and bold. I love it.
So between
how do you do it?
Yeah, so between, God giving me visions and stuff, and between my creativity, that's how I come about doing the things that I do. And I just really have a big mind of imagination. So I tend to imagine what I want to, I guess, be seen in front of me. And so like I said, I have a huge creative mind. And like I said, also God giving me vision to do, or confirmation to do those things.
Oh yeah, you have the children's book too. I think children's book are a great way to influence the little ones too.
Yes, definitely.
And are you, when I come back to the vision, you were like, I don't know what's ahead of me, but would you like talk in front of hundreds of kids in a school, or like the impact you want to make? How do you reach the people you want to reach?
So honestly, whatever opportunity that comes my way, that will make a positive impact, I will take it. And it can be 50 kids, it can be 100 kids, it can even be more than that. It doesn't matter, because my motto is, I can't help everybody and I can't save everyone, but I know I've done a job well done if I've helped someone. So as long as I've helped someone, one kid, I've said this about my game. If my game can teach one kid how to show kindness instead of bullying, then my game did its job. If my game can save one kid from wanting to commit suicide, then my game did its job. So my thing is to at least know that I've helped someone out here in this world.
I just love it. I mean, you say all the things people like in my age learn at conferences. I was at the Brandon Bouchard conference, and I thought he had really done a beautiful job of the self-doubt. When you're like, oh, my webinar, only 100 people showed up, then it was a venue with 900 people, and then he told like the first rows to stand up, and he said, look at that, that's 100 people. If you only help one person, you're an influencer. And if you help 100 people, that's 100 people. Look at them. It's a lot of people. Don't think that it's not worth it, or that's not, I love this message, but you have ingrained it already, and you're 19. I love you. You're so powerful. And that's what I always thought when I was teaching, these classes for the professional school guys and girls. When they I lost the word, when they finished up school, like the graduation, I was always so filled with hope, because I loved them. I had 3 years with them, and get to know them. So like, the world is okay with people like them going out in the world, working, whatever. Some people are now like doing completely different jobs, like working in the what's the rescue, the ambulance, ambulance worker are completely different, but if you have a base of a job, you can afterwards evolve in whatever field you want to go. But it's like, and with you, talking with you gives me so much hope and a good feeling, because we could focus on everything going wrong on this world, again, as we talked in the beginning, or we can focus on what's going well, like people are doing things like you and impacting one by one. This is so, so powerful.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
And what are your plans now, like 2021? Are you I learned now that if I ask you too far ahead, you're like, yeah, I will see. But I'm sure you have some plans which have also discipline involved, like I will do this and this and this. You're not laying around like watching television while you might do something. So what are your next projects or next plans?
Yes. So I plan to write 3 more books. They're children books based off my game, based off the 3 lessons that my game teaches. I plan to get an app created for my game because, there are so many kids that now based on technology. So that's another thing. And those pretty much are just the main 2. Of course, there probably will be some other things that come up. But for right now, the app and those 3 children books.
So every book will lead to the game and vice versa, and everything is like a package.
Yes, definitely.
For what age is the game? So, like you planned it for what age group?
6.
6+.
Yes.
Okay. So cool. And the children's book will be, how do you illustrate it, or how do you do that? You do it yourself? You paint it yourself?
I don't know how to draw. But I do have an illustrator that does it for me.
Oh, cool. And that's a friend of you, or you found him or her on Fiverr?
Found a freelancer.
Freelancer, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, it's a dream project to do children's book in a series with you and publish it together. Do you do shared profit, or you pay the job of illustrating it?
Yeah, I paid a job off illustrating it, so no share profits.
No share profit. And where did you learn your business skills? From your mother, or did you do like school courses?
Definitely from my mother.
Okay.
Yeah. I will be going to school though for business administration and communications, but for right now, I've learned all my business skills from my mother, and of course, research.
Yeah. And I mean, we have YouTube. I just told my little girl, she's 10, like we didn't have internet for any presentation in school. We just had to go to the library. I mean, and now it's with YouTube, you can learn everything. It's or with just whatever services on the internet. It's so cool.
Right. Yep.
I learned all my online business tools and podcasting and whatever. I learned everything online. And then what I love about it is I can choose the teacher, which I love, which I resonate, and not some random guy. I think you're not capable and I don't like to listen to you. That's, I think, really the problem of any university or like a constructed intuition. Institution. Sometimes I have to search for the word.
Yeah.
When you're just in courses and then a teacher appears and you're like, oh yeah, thank you very much. That's just not fun. So online learning is so cool.
Definitely. Yep. Yes.
So 2021, you're already like, yeah, you have some things to do. Other people do that in 10 years. What do you do in 1 year? And what are your, like, I know you told me, I don't know what's ahead, but I think like, what's the next step and the next step? Like, you're growing, you're only soon 20 years old. How cool is that? What are your next dreams and visions? If they come true or not, you will see.
So I do want to have my games in schools, especially homeless shelters. And I also want to have it like, foster care homes, all of that good stuff. Youth centers, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club. I want to be, within the next 3 years, I want to be speaking in a crowd of around 50 to 100 people, whether it's the youth or just, people my age, millennials and that nature. And also, I want to have kids, probably like 3, 4 years down, maybe 4, I don't know, whenever, that's God's decision. And I just want to basically, like I said, make an impact, continue to help people the best way I can. And that's my dream goal, entirely. That's my dream goal.
So cool. How many kids? I don't know if I'm allowed to ask that, but you just don't answer if you don't want to. But as you had 5 siblings,
Mhm.
I love like big gang feeling, but sometimes it's just too much, and you think, no, I want 1 kid. 6 is just too much. Do you have a dream number in your head, or that's something you are not?
So I want to have 1. My husband wants 2, but depending on how bad childbirth is, it may just stick with 1.
You can do, I did hypnobirthing,
Mm-hmm.
and had just a beautiful experience. So with your mental power, you can have the most beautiful birth experience. I promise you. You can even I couldn't manage that. I was kind of a little angry afterwards. Like, yeah, to go pain free. You can do that
Yeah.
with your mind.
Mm.
There are even dentists who are trained in hypnotherapy, and they can do operation surgery without medication, and they don't feel anything. So everything is possible with your mind.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I can tell you, don't be afraid of childbirth. Maybe the pregnancy can be challenging, but the birth is in your hands again with your mental. I mean, we're built to do that. Our bodies are so amazing. So yeah, check out hypnobirthing, and
I will.
you will not be afraid at all. That's so, because that's something, over the last, I don't know how many 100 years, it's like, ooh, that's so, and it hurts, and all the movies are so stupidly like telling us that it's a hard thing. But the mental preparation with meditation, I did a lot of meditation. It's just like we're built for that, and it's smooth and everything. And it was a beautiful experience. My husband was I was at the birth. I don't know how you say that in American. I don't know if you have that, like only midwives are working there. It's not a hospital.
Oh, right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But if there would be an emergency, you would be in the hospital within 7 minutes. So like no risk at all. But the place is so beautiful, and only midwives are working there. And then afterwards, we stayed there for a whole week in a beautiful room, and my husband and I with our little girl. And he heard all the other women giving birth. He was like, oh wow, like a dying deer or like a dying bear. And I'm so glad that you were so quiet, because I was calm all the time, with the hypnobirthing. I tell you, that's for you. You will think of me while giving birth, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes, it's all mental. That's what you said. It's for
right.
sure. Yeah. Now we have interesting topics in our episode here. That's so cool. But I think, and that's something in this famous book, and it's from an American, written by an American woman. It depends, or it makes a difference how you get birthed, or is that the correct sentence? Like if it's just a gentle way on entering this world, it has an impact on your whole being. So you can impact your child from the very, very, very beginning on. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you have to check it out. And there are lots of resources online anyway, so you will find. Oh, there is but she's not. She sold that business, but there is an English woman. Susie Ashcroft. I just listened to a podcast with her, and she founded the UK hypnobirthing school. So you could check her out. She's
Yeah, I'll look at
I'm already looking forward to the resources of our episode. Like, oh wow, okay, they talked about games and birth and everything. So
right. Okay.
yes.
Oh, this has been fun.
Yes. and you said like what brings you joy. Can you? I always say that's one of the first exercises I give to my clients. Like write down 100 things which bring you joy. Like little things too. I don't know where you live. Do you have the 4 seasons or
Yeah, 4 seasons.
4 seasons. So for me, something which is on my list is like walking on crunchy snow, the sound. I love that. But I love also like cherry blossoms sitting underneath, like little things.
Right.
We won't go through 100 things of your list, but like if you would just start to like, oh, that brings me joy and that brings me joy. Could you share some joyful points on your 100 things which bring me joy list? Just right away, totally spontaneous.
Let's see. Juice. Going to the park, walking in the park. Car rides, love car rides. Date nights, that honestly brings me joy. Food in general, especially hot wings, or family, definitely love. Being kind to someone, that brings me joy. Seeing kindness, within other people, that brings me joy. What else? Waking up brings me joy. And just, it's a lot. And I know the little things you're probably like, that brings you joy? Yeah. Eating food, juice. I love juice. Going to the park. It's just the fact that, you can see nature, you can breathe in fresh air. Just the little things within that is what brings me joy.
And just the little time, I know you now from Facebook and Instagram, you like beautiful clothes and makeup and hair, like you are a piece of art to just seeing also your transformation. You sent me picture with long hair and now with short hair. Right. And did you do this piece of art behind you, or is that from somebody else?
Thrift store.
What is that?
I bought it from a thrift store.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So just looking at you, like clothes, makeup, just your whole appearance, that would be like on your list, like 10 points already. And I love gold so much, the color gold. So this piece of art speaks to me too. That's so cool. Right. Yeah. And when I ask about these 100 things, it's like 100? Are you crazy? But when you start, it's like, oh wow, yeah, like juice. Like I could write down orange juice or grapefruit juice. That's 2 different things. And sometimes I choose this for bringing me joy, and sometimes this. And then these little things which add up over the day brings the whole day to another level. Like, yeah, I can choose and create joy for myself.
Right. Yeah.
Any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Are you and your family close, like geographically, or are you apart because Switzerland is so tiny, but the states are big. So are you close, or you have to stay?
So right now, yes. So right now, my husband, we're stationed up here in Washington State, closer to Canada. But we'll be moving back to Georgia, so we will be closer to family, around hour and a half to 3 hours from his family than from my family.
So his family will be close too.
Right. Yep.
Oh, cool. Because that's always such a hard decision. My husband, we met 20 years ago in Japan, and he came to Switzerland, and it was like I told him, I don't know if I could live. I love Japan since I'm a child, but I
Yeah.
don't know if I could live there because I can speak Japanese, but I'm an analphabet. Is that the right? I can't. I can read a little bit like a first grader. So you're never a full employee because you can't read or write. And he said, "Oh, I come to Switzerland. That's no problem. But the decision to leave your family and go close to the others. So if you can combine it, it's just
It,
a
yeah.
win-win situation.
Right. Yep.
So
Definitely.
you can meet more often than now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how's
Yeah.
like like you say we are stationed and we will moving. Are you included in this decision, or you just told like move there, move there within the military?
Yeah. So when you say included, are you saying like once okay, so he
So
can choose where
the
he wants to go.
decision, are you included in this decision, or are you just told where you have to go?
So for right now, they chose where we could go. Luckily, it was Georgia, so we're going back home to our home state. But after I believe this contract, he's able to go where he wants to go. But we've decided that we're probably going to stay in Georgia. He'll just be reserved in the military instead of active. But I do have we both made the decision to see, where we want to go. Because he's had different options than Georgia. But since we both wanted to go back home, see family, be with family, and we chose that. So yeah.
Cool. Because
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I don't like to get told what I have to do, and I assume you too, like you want to choose.
Right.
And as you want your children of your own, it's just so beautiful to have family around and grow together. And you have
Right.
nephews and
Yes.
nieces
Nieces.
already,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I know that the FaceTime or just the digital relationships, they work because we can't go to Japan now, and grandparents can't come over now. But yeah, it's just in person. It's just the very very best. So
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
oh, I'm just excited to be in contact with you and see what you're all the things you're doing.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I'm so honored to because your mother, as I'm growing my podcast, I'm asking friends and people I know, but your mother was the first person just reaching out to me. Can I be on your podcast? And I was like, yes, like somebody I don't know is approaching me. That means I have a certain
That.
I reached a level where people are approaching me. I was so happy. And then she
Yeah.
introduced me to you. And that's what I love. Like for me, I also believe in God. I was raised Christian in a very nice way without, the pressure
Exactly. Yep.
that I had to like push back and say that's nothing for me. For me, it's now more like I created like kind of my own religion, with God and the traditional faith, but also with nature shows us, yeah, just my own construct of my
Yeah.
belief, and how I meet people and how the connections go. I'm in awe, like I can talk to you now. I've never heard before of you like 2 months ago. How cool is that? I just love that. And yeah, we're saving the world for sure.
Yeah.
And you absolutely have to check out Rachel Rogers. I'm sure you will love her. And she wrote a book, and it will come out at the 4th of May.
Okay.
That will be probably after our episode now will be live. But yeah, we should all be millionaires. That's the
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So what is your message to the world? Just like AnTonia Jackson, here's the mic, your message to the world.
Yes. So hello world. My would have to be um do not spend another day procrastinating. Do not spend another day of fear. Go after your dreams. Do what you want to do in life. Be you. Be free. Be authentic. The best thing you can be is to be yourself. Don't let anyone tell you no. Don't let the naysayers get to you. And always, always, always be consistent and have discipline. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for your time and your energy, and your vision is so big and beautiful, and I will follow you on the beauty of social media. For me is to be inspired daily by what you post, what others posting. Like I love your quotes and everything you do. So thank you so much for inspiring me daily. Really, that's so cool.
Thank you for having me, honestly.
Thank you. And yeah, we're in touch. That's the beauty of the internet. It can be used for so many bad things, but also the good things. So let's focus. Yeah. Let's focus on the right side. Thank you so much, AnTonia. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this interview as much as I did. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes if you liked it. Also, make sure to join my free Joy group on Facebook to discuss this episode and other Joy topics, and you can find the link to it in my show notes on joyismycompass.com/blog. If you are looking for ways to incorporate more joy into your daily life, I've got the most awesome tool for you. Head over to joyismycompass.com/UA to hire your personal universal assistant. What is that? You'll find out. Just click on the link joyismycompass.com/UA. See you in the next episode.